They're tablets, but you know what? It's the smallest calcium supplement on the market. It's so easy to swallow. In fact, I have a bottle and I'll pass it around. Because this is the way that it actually packs the best and allows it to remain a vegetarian formula. So let me show you real quick.
Vegetarian capsules?
They do.
I like capsules so much better than tablets.
Put a lot more in a tablet.
Well, all your pharmaceuticals that you get almost 9 out of 10 times, it's incredibly small, it's very smooth, but pharmaceuticals are tablets and they break down. The whole illusion that a tablet does not break down in our body is completely false. It absolutely, if our digestion is in good working order, that tablet is going to break down. 9 out of 10 pharmaceuticals are tablets.
Well, I don't use any pharmaceuticals,
but they break down.
I don't like to swallow the tablets.
Right.
Can you cut them in half?
You can, but you can actually chew them if you want to. It doesn't taste bad because it's calcium from algae. So let's talk about another ingredient in the formula, because New Chapter didn't stop with just putting the algae cal in the formula. There's a really important component to bone health, and that's vitamin K2. Having the correct form of vitamin K2 is extremely important. So remember how in the beginning I talked about foods and why they're important, and bacteria, and having our guts actually in good working health? Well, all of the bacteria in our guts actually make vitamin K2. So as we age, you can just pass it around, we have less vitamin K2, so we metabolize our minerals. It's not bad at all. So we metabolize our minerals significantly less. So the correct form of vitamin K2 is also important. So New Chapter goes the distance on all of our products. We're the only company that uses this particular form of vitamin K2 in our products. And the reason is because of this study right here. So having the correct form of vitamin K2, which means having its entire chemical profile, a 50% reduction in overall arterial calcification, and a 50% reduction of overall cardiovascular death. This study was done on almost 5,000 people. They were 55 years and older, and there was a 10-year follow-up on each person. Just by adding 45 micrograms of the correct form of vitamin K2 into what they were doing, that's in there. So we know that K7, there's 6 different chemistries to vitamin K2. There's K4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Most of what you see out there is K7. Problem with K7, we know that K7 is the active part of vitamin K2, but if you take it away from 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9, it's unstable, and it doesn't last as long. So having all the chemistries of vitamin K2 is really important, and New Chapter has added that into the formula. It comes from natto, and it's called MENQ7. And so it's the correct fermented form of fermented soy. Fermented soy also shows, there's studies showing that one serving of fermented soy also reduces bone loss and can reverse osteoporosis as well. So our MENQ7 or our vitamin K is coming from natto.
Is this the same, this bone strength, the same that would build your bones? Would it build the bones in your jaw? All your bones? Or?
Is that from being on like Fosamax or any of those?
No, I'm just, like, when you've had your jaw shrinks.
Right.
So
it's like one of the, and when you're on like Boniva and some of the other pharmaceuticals as well, it attacks this area because not only does it stop bone loss, but it also slows down bone growth. So while the tissue ends up deteriorating at a slower rate, but becomes more brittle. So it's kind of the pharmaceuticals are really harsh. So this minerals would be the key, and the K2 would actually be just as important for regenerating in areas that are more difficult to reach than areas like, your femur and other bigger bones in your body.
Well, and my husband just had implants, and they had to do a bone graft because he didn't have enough bone. So I was thinking
it would be good. Multi-minerals. So this is the most effective bioavailable form of K2 on the market to date. So this is the human clinical trial I talked about on postmenopausal women that were 50 and older. A 2% increase was predicted and documented after 6 months, and a net gain of 3% was expected after a year, and it's actually even been more than that. So I talked a little bit about all the other trace minerals in the product. One key constituent in this product is called strontium. We find strontium naturally occurring in all of our bones normally, but here's a few studies on strontium taken in conjunction with calcium. So this particular one shows just a 3% increase in 1 year in overall bone density, 44% reduction of vertebral fractures. This one was a 14.4% increase in bone density in the spine alone, and it's found in small amounts in human bones and teeth. So the strontium in this formula is going to be what actually helps the most. But I like, there's some research out there that says that if you take strontium with calcium, it doesn't work. That's when you're taking it in a high potency and it's concentrated and it's not naturally occurring with smaller amounts of calcium. This is a mineral complex. It's not just a calcium formula. 3.
How many of those do you take a day?
3.
3, one of each meal.
You can take them. I like to take minerals at night because when we sleep is when we regenerate the most healthy tissue. So I take 3 at night. Actually, I take 2. I don't take 3. It does help me sleep, and I combine it with another product that we're going to talk about in just a second. New Chapter dedicates over 10% of our proceeds and our revenues back into research on our products. So we're very driven by that, and we always offer innovation to the industry and something that you don't normally find. And this is definitely something that we've not normally seen in our industry. So the other thing we add to the formula is vitamin D3. And we put D3 in the formula because D3 is appropriate for just about every system in the body. We have receptor sites in the endocrine system, the brain, the lungs, the breast tissue, reproductive organs. D3 is there, considering that D3 possibly might be the next largest dietary deficiency that this country has ever seen. Iodine being the first one, which is why we iodized our salt back in the day and still have iodized salt. But they say 80% of the population is now D3 deficient. D3 with the K2, with the AlgaCal, they all work synergistically together better than any one of them would work by themselves. Because it's an important part of bone health, we actually put it back in there. And fermented D3 is actually 12 times more effective in the body than isolated D3. So it's 12 times more active. Bone Strength Take Care, whole food calcium complex, has cultured vitamin D3 with natural K2 to promote utilization. It's an amazing formula. It is the #1 selling calcium supplement in our industry for the last 4 weeks. So this product's only been out for a year and a half, and it has already surpassed every other major selling calcium out there. The reason is people take it and they feel better. They do. You should feel better when you're taking a really good mineral product. You should feel better.
When you take a doctor prescribed D, 50,000 units a week, I think. How does that compare to the D in there?
Well, you're getting 1,000 IUs a day. That's 12 times more active because it's fermented, right? So 12 times 1,000 would deliver 12,000 per day. You would easily fall under that 50,000 per week because they're talking about isolated USP D3.